We're going to go ahead and start. And I'm going to share with you some of the stuff that we expect from you during the session, so we will have more effective session today. Okay. My name is Nader Khalil, and I'm the Application Cuts Implementation Team in IT Applications. And I'm joined today by Stirling. You want to?
Hi, my name is Stirling Crow. I work in IT Applications on the commercial off-the-shelf systems team, part of IT Applications, and I report to Nader.
Fantastic. And we also have special guests today to share with us and you their experience about Banner 9, since we went live with their applications/modules. But we have a very good track this year. We have about 2 sessions for Banner 9 presentations, and we have 3 labs, hands-on labs. So if you are so excited about Banner 9 and you want to know more about it, we have the labs downstairs. And I will share all of that with you in the last slide that we're going to present today. So let's go ahead and start. This is kind of the agenda that we're going to go over today. It's basically a status, what we did, where we are, and where we're heading, why we're doing it, how we're doing it, and when we're going to be rolling stuff out, if it makes sense. At the end of the presentations, we're going to have Q&As, so please feel comfortable to ask any questions that you might have. All right, the preparation of Banner 9 implementation and why it's a big deal. It's kind of big deal for us and the community as well, because the vendor, Lucien, they are moving from one technology stack to a different technology stack. The client version of Banner that you have on your desktop right now, if you are a user of Banner, it will go away by the end of this year. Starting next year, or maybe this year actually, after we roll out modules, you will be able to log into Banner through a web interface. Like you type a URL, and boom, you will hit Banner. You will use the same tables that you are using right now with different exceptions, different features, and different look and feel that I will cover later on today. So in 2017, last year, when we met with you, we were doing the preparation for Banner 9, setting the foundations. And we were collecting the roadmap for Banner 9, meeting with different offices, to make sure that we are rolling the application according to the business cycles for each office. We developed process that it will help us and you and set the expectations with you and how we will be approaching Banner 9 implementation, so we don't waste your time. I will share that in the next slide in more depth. So that will enable everyone on campus to be prepared how we're going to approach Banner 9 implementation for each office, right? And we had a fantastic technical team. We have a small army of people in IT applications and out of IT applications, like different functional offices, behind the scene for the implementation of Banner 9. So we did that last year. We formed the team, and we have a very solid team that we are working with right now, moving forward to deploy Banner 9 modules and applications. What we did also, I don't know, you guys familiar with UNM Jobs 2.0, correct? Fantastic. To be able to go live with it, behind the scene, I know, I was not responsible for okay. That was not my project. Just to get this out of the way so you guys can. But we did help behind the scene, okay? We did. We had one of the Banner 9 modules that we need to have to be able to allow these folks to go live with the UNM Jobs 2.0, okay? So we did help them deploying that application, and we restricted the access to only the compensations folks in different offices on campus. So that was behind the scene, kinda. You didn't see it, but you were exposed to the actual application. And that module, of course, it's self-service called the position description, so you won't be able to see it. Only the folks from compensations offices around campus. All right, we developed this beautiful 9 steps. I know it looks like overwhelming, but it's not. The team, we have a program manager, technical lead, business analyst, different technical folks in IT, and different people from different teams and such. We developed the steps in here. And I will share the slides with you so you can go and read it more in depth. Absolutely, yeah, you don't have, we'll share it, yeah. It will be on techdays.unm.edu once we're done. the process helped us to identify how we're going to be approaching every module according to the business needs for each office. You guys know that we have how many offices in our departments? We have about 28, 29 of them. Each one of them, they have different cycles. Maybe some of them, they align kinda, like payroll and HR, they might align on the business cycles and how busy over the course of the year. But other offices on campus, they have different cycles, business cycles. So they will not be free to help us with the testings and such. So that's why we developed the steps in here and the procedures after we developed the roadmap to set the expectations. We send a business analyst to document the business process for the office, maybe start using, creating use cases that we will be using in the project to test the applications once it's deployed, and then hand that to the developers and such and such and such. At the end of the day, want to make it like a smooth transition from point A to point Z. And we understand each office, they already have overhead of the, the day-to-day functions that they have to do. In addition to that, we engage them with Banner 9, which is kind of a very intense process. I'm going to explain later on. All right, 2018, this is what we did. And we have some preparation for 2019 as well. We tackled the dependencies in Banner in general. Like you deal with Banner, but behind the scenes, we have a bunch of dependencies. One of them is the Banner job submissions. I don't know if you guys are familiar with this process, some shaking their heads. It's so crucial to have this piece up and running for Banner 9. It is working Banner, the current Banner version, but it was so important to have it up and running as well. So we did some kind of preparation. We came across some issues that we fixed, the team fixed, and then finally we had it up and running for Banner 9 modules. So that was the first step. We had some performance issues that we dealt with, and we're glad that we announced that we don't have any major performance issue right now in Banner 9, which is fantastic. And if we have enough time at the end, hopefully, we can elaborate a little bit more on the Banner 9 performance that we dealt in 2018. We did deploy all the modules. I'm going to explain, the modules versus applications. Modules, basically all the applications that you are dealing with, like for HR, payroll, financial aid, and such. We call it modules. We refer applications more to standalone, self-service applications. The stuff that you go to Lobo Web and access, we call it an application. This piece in here about accommodating the Banner 9 custom forms, it's a little bit not overwhelming, but it's a very intense process for us. Just to explain it a little bit, we have the delivered code from the vendor, Lucian, but then over the years, we went live with the original Banner in 2006, I believe. Over the years, actually, the developers start modifying the code, the delivered code, which now it became a big issue for us to accommodate in Banner 9, because our intention is to go vanilla with whatever the vendor delivered and accommodate the stuff that we changed over the years. So that's kind of like a sub-project out of the project. So far, we're successful to accommodate all the custom forms in Banner 9, and we're working toward accommodating more and more based on the roadmap of delivering the modules. Like the next big one is going to be students and general admin modules that will be delivering in 7/16 this year. So we have a bunch of custom forms that we need to accommodate, and we're working toward that goal. As I mentioned, we developed the roadmap for Banner 9 self-service. That should be admin. I'm sorry. We developed the roadmap for the admin modules, and the plan in 2019, I take that back. So once we're done with the customization in here, we'll be developing actually the roadmap for the self-service in 2019 that we'll be tackling in here. So the main goal in 2018 is to deliver the admin modules. In 2019, deliver the self-service module applications, if it makes sense.
Yeah, I think this is me. Morning, everybody. Nader was saying, my name's Stirling Crow. I'm one of the technical leads on the Banner 9 slew of projects that we have. Just real quick, show of hands, how many of you have never heard of Banner 9 before today? Okay. How many of you had heard of Banner 9 before the start of 2018? Okay. All right. And also just curious, how many of you right now in here use the Banner forms on a daily basis? Okay, cool. So just to kind of back up, I want to talk about when we say Banner 9, we're really kind of talking about two separate things. For those of you that are familiar with the Banner forms, you are currently using the Banner 8 version of the forms. And to use those, you got to have Java installed on your laptop or on your computer. And you bring up this applet, this Java program on your computer, and you're interacting with the Banner system that way. Most of the time when we talk about Banner, we're talking about the Banner forms, and in your case, the Banner 8 forms. There's another side to Banner, Banner Self-Service. And Banner Self-Service is what we here at UNM call LoboWeb. So if you go to myunm.edu, if you're in LoboWeb, if you're checking your pay stub, or if you're a student, if you're registering for classes, that's all part of the Banner Self-Service piece. Okay, so just want to distinguish for those of you that might not be too familiar with Banner, we've got two different pieces, Banner Forms and Banner Self-Service. This right here, the entire purpose of this slide is just to kind of say that the Banner 8 forms and the Banner 9 forms, they connect to the same place, same database. So if you're in Banner 8 forms and you're in a form, Spaden or whatever, and you're updating information, if you go to the Banner 9 version of that form, you're going to see your updates. If you're in the Banner 9 version of the form, you make a change, you go to Banner 8, you're going to see the change. Okay, so really the Banner 9 forms, you can kind of think of it as a slapping a new coat of paint on the system, all right? But they're both connecting to the same place. Just want that to be clear. So it's not a brand new system. We're just, it's basically just a different interface to the data that you already have access to. All right. So Banner 8 forms, most of you in here know this. It's how you access the Banner system. Again, we usually call it Banner, but the technical name is INB. I don't know if you've ever heard it called that before, but Banner INB, Internet Native Banner. Fancy schmancy. And within Banner, you've got these different areas, right? You've got student, you've got financial aid, you've got human resources, which really is kind of a position control and payroll, accounts receivable in general. And you can tell if you're in a particular area or not by the name of the form that you're using. For example, Spaden. Raise your hand if you've ever been to Spaden before. Yeah, it's one of the main demographic forms. That's part of the student module. If you use something like GZA Fill, that's part of the general module. FOIDN, it's part of that's kind of like the financial equivalent of Spaden. RAP Award is where financial aid does a lot of their work. So you've got all these different areas within the Banner system, and it's all kind of separated by these different areas. So Banner 8 forms. The technology that was used to create those Banner 8 forms is kind of old. It's like from the early 2000s or even before then. And the company that created that technical framework, which is Oracle, they basically said, hey, this stuff is old. We're not going to develop it. We're not going to support it anymore. And they let all the vendors that use that technology know. And they said, hey, look, we're going to stop doing any type of work for these forms, for these Oracle forms at the end of December 2018. So Illution is the vendor that makes Banner. Illution said, if they're not going to be supporting this stuff anymore, we need to move away from this technology. And it's also time. It's time for us to recreate how users access the Banner system and make it more modern. So that date, that's our cutoff date. We have to move. We have to get off of the Banner 8 forms. So what does it mean when Oracle says that the forms are not supported? Well, for Illution, It means that they're still going to support what's there, but they're not going to be doing any additional development. So for certain areas like financial aid or finance, I mean, think about all the regulations that come through with financial aid every single year. Think about all the stuff with taxes that change. We have to move to the new Banner 9 forms because Aleutians they're not going to make any of this stuff for Banner 8. So we're still going to have access and support for certain things, but as far as upgrades go, no new Banner 8 upgrades. Everything is going to be in the Banner 9 world. So we have to move. In regards to the design, I know most everybody here is probably from the business units. This is probably too techie tech, but I'd like to just kind of talk about it a little bit. In the Banner 8 world, you pretty much have the Banner 8 forms, and that allows you to connect to the database. From a technical side, what happens is, for these Banner 9 forms, is there's a tool called the Aleutian Solution Manager. Aleutian created this about 2 years ago as a way to kind of manage the upgrades. We used to have a very difficult time figuring out what type of upgrade were we going to install. Okay, we need to install student 8.10. Oh, but before we do that, we need to install general 8.9 because there's a dependency there. So all this crazy web of interdependencies, and Aleutian Solution Manager kind of took care of that for us. It's a new tool from the vendor. This new tool kind of tells us what we need to install if we want the new version of student or the new version of financial aid. And it downloads these different pieces, bundles them up into one application called Banner Admin. And it's this Banner Admin that gets deployed on one of our servers, and then your browser interacts with that deployed application on the server, okay? So with the new architecture that Aleutian has come up with, there's no need to have Java on your computer anymore. All you need is a web browser, okay? There's a caveat to that. And one of the things that we've discovered is that, well, we're going to talk about this in a little bit, but right now, if you're going to use your Banner 8 forms, what web browser do you usually use? Internet Explorer. If you try to go into Chrome and use the Banner 8 forms, what happens? Nothing. Because the Banner 8 forms are old, Google, who makes Chrome, said we're not going to support this technology. You cannot run Oracle Forms through Chrome. And Firefox recently did that as well. There are older versions of Firefox where you can run the forms, but they said no more. Anyways, the way that we're doing our rollouts, and we're going to talk about this in a little bit, but just keep in mind that for Banner 8, you need to use Internet Explorer, right? But we are encouraging people with the new Banner 9 forms to use Chrome or Firefox. And the reason for that is because Chrome and Firefox have advanced JavaScript engines. The technology that makes all this stuff is HTML, CSS, JavaScript. It's these modern day web technologies, and the advanced JavaScript engines in Chrome and Firefox make the forms respond a little bit quicker. They're a little bit faster, okay? So what that means is if you're going to be in the Banner 9 forms, we want you in Chrome and Firefox, but while we have our piecemeal rollouts, you're still going to be in the Banner 8 forms for a few things. You're going to have to go back and forth while we're in between, okay? But once we're done, once we kind of move all the way into the Banner 9 world, hey, all you'll need is just a web browser on any machine, and you can access your Banner 9 forms. So, okay, next slide. I think that's you, Nader.
All right. Thank you, Sterling. All right, what's new in Banner 9, right? Different technology, as we mentioned, and Sterling kind of touched bases a little bit on what type of browsers that you need to use for better performance. So the new look and feel that you're gonna notice, and we have labs. We have 2 labs today that you can go and play with it if you have a bar rule in development, or actually you can use your bar rule in production if you wish. But you can see a total difference between the navigation piece of it, between Banner 8, the current version, and Banner 9. So you will notice that changes, and also you will notice that things moved a little bit. If you have a menu in here, it will be on your right-hand side instead of left. More features and more options and more ways of displaying the information. Keep in mind, the same information will be displayed on page, but in a different format. The new applications that Lucien, the vendor, delivered, we have brand new applications that we will be rolling out accordingly based on the business needs from different offices. I mentioned a few of them in here. The first one actually is your gate to Banner 9, the application navigator. We call it AppNav. And that will be your gate to Banner 9. I will show you a couple of screenshots in a little bit, but basically that will be your best friend moving forward once we adopt Banner 9. Communication management, I thought when they actually released it a couple of years ago, it's an optional for us. This year, when I attended the conference with Lucien, now they are making it more a very important application to have to be able to use direct deposit and other existing applications that we have. So it's not an optional application that we need kind of to adopt or not to adopt. We will adopt it maybe in 2019. Attendance tracking, and they provide some stuff for students as well, like attendance tracking, and some stuff also will help us kind of collecting some informations. I mean, if you have a class, how many times you accept financial responsibility checkbox? So we don't have students in here today. So, but anyway, if you are a student, you have to accept the financial responsibility, agreement. We are doing it in a different way right now, but that application will allow us to do it in more in a better fashion, to be honest with you, because we have mods in place to be able to accommodate that small feature. Some of the tools that they provided, it's more for technical folks like us in IT applications, how to change the theme behind the scene and how to edit stuff on the fly and such. That's why it comes the page builder and theme editors and text manager. It's more for the technical folks. Here's a new look of one of the examples of the self-service, the Banner admin forms. Let you take a look at it a little bit. So Lucien delivered all the admin forms. So we have all of them on our servers. We're turning on and off the forms according to the roadmap that I'm going to share with you in a little bit. But this is one of the examples of the admin forms in here. And they have called it like too many different names. I know Stirling mentioned the application or the modules in Banner 8. It looks a little bit different in Banner 9. And here is Application Navigator. Here is how you will type a URL and you will go to Banner. You will get like a big text search box. And all what you need to do is mainly either type the characters that you memorized over a few years, or type the name of the form itself. You don't have to memorize them. It's a very good option for new people joining UNM. So if you type general person, the form will come up. You don't have to memorize 6 digits. Yeah. All right. What we did in 2018, we deployed the account receivable module, the T forms. We deployed the financial aid, the R forms. And in June of 2018, this year, we'll be deploying position control and payroll, which it will be, I believe, next week, 6/15. In July 7/16, we'll be deploying the S and the G forms. Late in the summer, we'll be deploying finance. That's for the admin forms. This is how we are rolling out the modules. So as Dwayne mentioned earlier today, we're not doing any harm to any office on campus. So we will have Banner 8 up and running. Once we are deploying Banner 9, we'll keep Banner 8 up and running side by side until we demise it or disable it. Meaning that Once we feel comfortable that the office is not having any issues with the module in Banner 9, once we know that the performance is going very well, then we'll start disabling the forms in Banner 8, if it makes sense. So we don't have two systems up and running side by side.
And can I just add right there? Yes. Like Nader talked about before, we're doing a series of rollouts. So right here, this is an example for the T forms, the account receivable forms. As you can see, they were available. Banner 8 T forms have been available for a long time. In March, we turned on the Banner 9 T forms. Both Banner 8, Banner 9 T, Banner 8 versions of the forms were up and running. Banner 9 T versions of the forms were running. So they're in parallel at the same time. And then we turned off the Banner 8 T forms so that only the Banner 9 T forms are running. And that's kind of how we're going to do all the module rollouts.
So turning on and off the forms in Banner 8, it's not just us in a vacuum. We work with the office impacted by turning on and off the forms, right? And we have a couple of situations where we went live with the module, and then we found some issues with performance, so we kept a few forms in Banner 8 up and running until we fixed the issue, then we disabled them after that, if it makes sense. This is a roadmap that we developed in 2017 about rolling out the admin module or the admin form. I mentioned that we went live with account receivable, financial aid. Currently, we are working on human resources, HR, and efficiency control. And meanwhile, we are also working on general admin and general student admin. And then there's one left module at the end with the fourth semester, which is finance. So as you can see, the team, we have different team members working in the program, and we have different teams tackling different modules in here. Every time we disable a form in Banner 8, we'll communicate to the community. I know you guys use this heavily. This is familiar to you, right? We have a message down there saying when we're going to be disabling stuff. So it's a very good way of communication to you. We have different ways of communication. We have a very communication plan in place. I'm going to mention maybe a little bit, but this is one of the options that we provide to the community so they can know exactly what's coming ahead. Other ways of communications, we have the emails that they have been getting, like 30 days before the rollout of a module, 30, 2 weeks, 1 week, a day before the go live. The folks impacted by the go live will be communicated. Now, without further ado, I'm so pleased to bring two stars to the stage in here to talk about their experience in Banner 9. Daniel Borrego and Brian Malone. So please join us in here.
Sure. Hi, good morning. Can you hear me? Can you hear me now? So yeah, I'm the bursar, and my module is accounts receivable, and we went live March 16th. We started the transition or the implementation in late 2017, and things were going very smoothly. And then we hit a little snag with job submission, which has Nader explained. Very important not only for my office, for Brian's office as well, for financial aid and payroll and various other areas. So we kind of switched gears in January before we could go live, so that we could, so that IT could tackle that job submission issue. But really, other than that, that's major but minor snag. It was a pretty, for student accounts receivable, okay, for student accounts receivable, it was a fairly smooth transition. I say student accounts receivable because there's also a non-student accounts receivable piece to that. And they had a little bit more issue during testing than we did, and then when we went live, they were fine, and then we had issues, but everything got tackled. We've been live since March 16th, 2018, so a couple of months now, and things are going fairly smoothly. There were some performance issues, like Nader and Stirling mentioned, where things just weren't running as quickly, as fast as we were expecting and we're hoping, at least compared to Banner 8 forms. So Nader and the project team really worked with us and allowed us to keep, not allowed, but said, okay, we'll keep some of our forms live in the Banner 8 module so that it wouldn't really slow us down. And then when financial aid went live, same thing happened with them, but I'll let Brian get into that. So yeah, as far as my perspective goes, Banner 9, it's really easy to use. As explained, it's more of a web-based system, so you can expand it so that it fills up your whole screen. You can shrink it. You can zoom in, you can zoom out, whatever you need for your own preferences. There are differences, of course. I use shortcut keys on my keyboard. Who uses shortcut keys versus mouse? So some of the shortcuts have changed. For example, control page down is next block in Banner 9. In Banner 8. In Banner 9, it's alt page down. So it's taken some time to get used to, but I'm about there. But when you have to go back and forth between Banner 8 and Banner 9 for finance, you kind of get confused sometimes, but that'll all go away soon enough. But overall, I've been real pleased with Banner 9. My team, for the most part, they're pleased. You know how that can go sometimes with some change. And then just the performance is, that's like the biggest concern. They've done great work getting that fixed for us. It's much faster now than it was, but it's,
I have a question that maybe you can share, how your team adopted the new interface, moving from, the client version to the web.
Yeah.
How did
so
adopt it?
Almost everybody in the office uses Banner 9. Like I said, there are some forms that IT kept live for us in Banner 8, and that has to do mostly with third-party contracts. And there's a more popular form, but I won't tell you which one it is because you probably all have access to it, but stick with Banner 9. So they're using that form in Banner 8 because it's just much faster for them. It works in Banner 9, just the performance is not as quick as it is in Banner 8. But IT has made some great progress and some major improvements to that. So it's much better than what it was in March.
Thank you.
All right. Good morning. My name is Brian Malone. I'm with Financial Aid. Kind of not too much more to add to Daniel's eloquent words, but basically the nice thing about Banner 9, I thought for the implementation, I was part of the Banner, initial implementation, and it's not a full new system. So really the implementation was, not to downplay it too much, but it's kind of almost a non-issue because it was a matter of, like in our case, our forms were the same. There was a different look and feel, like you said, but basically the same thing. So it wasn't like, oh, let's learn everything brand new. In our old system, it was, 318 is now RAP award. Well, that's not, intuitive. But in this case, all the things really are the same. Looks a little different, shortcut key difference, things along those lines. I would say the other two things that probably shouldn't impact future implementations are kind of along the lines that Daniel had talked about. Right now, having to go back between 8 and 9 is a little awkward like that, but that'll go away. And then as far as right now, it's more just on the kind of a learning curve of getting used to it. The performance issue was impactful. That really has improved tremendously, and really IT has done great work there. Overall, like I said, I've been happy with the implementation as well. We have not deactivated our 8 forms yet, but we are in the process of doing that soon with that.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So earlier I kind of talked about the Banner 9 forms. I'm going to talk about the Banner self-service piece of all this. Again, the only reason I've got this slide up here is just to illustrate that both Banner 8 self-service and the Banner 9 self-service applications, they're pointing to the same place, the same database. So if you update something in Banner 8 self-service and Lobo Web, if you go into the Banner 9 equivalent, you're going to see those changes and vice versa. Thanks, Nader. You beat me to the punch. Okay. Banner 8 self-service. Kind of covered this a little bit a while ago. It's called LoboWeb. Here's an example of the student tab. So if you come into LoboWeb, you'll notice that you've got these different areas: student, financial aid, faculty advisors, employee, payment. You get these particular tabs depending on what you are in the Banner system. Also notice that under student, you've got a few different things. You've got admissions information. You've got registration and records. There are different areas even within the student tab. Next slide, please. So the functionality in the Banner 8 self-service piece and what we call LoboWeb, it's actually, Ellucian is not recreating everything at once. They are doing things piecemeal. So for example, there was admissions information in there, and then there was also registration information in there. Both of those are under the student tab within Banner 8 self-service. What they've done so far is they haven't done anything with the admissions piece, but they've taken that registration functionality and they've pulled that out and they've created a separate application called Banner 9 registration. And this is one of the big applications for us that we are going to go live with here toward the end of the year. Another example of this is Banner 9 faculty grade entry. That's another separate application that they've created. And then there's Banner 9 employee self-service. The Banner 9 employee self-service application, it looks like a lot of the functionality that does exist within the Banner 8 self-service piece of that has been recreated, but a lot of it, even within there, has been piecemeal. You're not going to find all of the functionality within the Banner 9 employee self-service piece yet. Ellucian will continue to release upgrades, and when they do, more and more of the functionality that's found within LoboWeb will be put into the new application there. Next slide, please. Thanks. Here's an example of what the new employee self-service application looks like. You're looking at me right here, and a lot of this stuff down here has kind of been disabled, but I do believe when HR goes live with this, you will be able to access your pay information from within this particular application.
So you will be able actually to access this view starting 6:16. We're going to go live with it in 6:15. 6:15, and then you will be able to look and use a new look and feel.
Very similar to UNM jobs. Is that a coincidence?
Well, I mean, like if you're looking at, I guess, our branding and stuff, yes.
And the picture and just kind of that whole.
But no, that's a coincidence. Yeah.
5 minutes.
Yeah.
5 minutes.
So this is a screenshot of what the new registration application looks like. I have a friend who is new to UNM. He just started classes here, and he was telling me about his registration experience. And really, the registration experience that we have within LoboWeb right now, it really is kind of outdated. You go in there, and it's like, hey, I'm back in 2002 registering for classes. And so the hope is that this new registration application will provide a more modern feel, experience for students when they register. And other universities that have gone live with the registration application, they've reported lots of successes. Their students really like it. So our rollout plan, April 2017. We've actually been live with one of the Banner 9 self-service applications since April of last year. And like Nader mentioned, with the UNM Jobs project, there was one piece of that where they needed the Banner 9 employee self-service application to enter position descriptions into Banner, and they wanted to use the Banner 9 employee self-service application to do that. So this has actually been up and running, but in a limited fashion. I think only folks at the Business Center and then somewhere I think at the HSC were able to access the application. Yeah, we had firewall rules on the application, but like Nader said, starting June 16th, we're going to have our enterprise go live, and everyone on campus will be able to access that new application. June 15th, 2018, like I just talked about, that's when we're doing the campus-wide rollout for that. Late summer, early fall. So we are currently working through some kinks with the Banner 9 registration application. We have some modifications to the current existing registration functionality. We basically allow upper upper level students like law school students and non-degree graduate students to register for lower level courses and get assigned like an undergraduate level for those courses. We don't want law school students taking a PE class and getting awarded law school credit for that. So we have some modifications in our current registration functionality that have to be brought into the new registration application. So we're working through those things right now, and it's our goal to roll out that Banner 9 registration application for the registration session in November when our students are registering for spring classes. Also, we've got a roadmap where we're going to be moving forward with a slew of other Banner 9 self-service applications in 2019.
So we'll be developing the roadmap for the self-service in late this year. That's why we said the Q4. So hopefully we'll meet with different offices. The way we did it with the admin forms, we'll meet with different offices that will be impacted by the self-service, and then we'll develop the roadmap, share it with everyone, and publish it on the website. Yeah, go ahead.
So I've got a question. I'm already using Banner 9 for replacing Internet Banner Nader for the non-student accounts receivable. So that I totally get. On the self-service, is right now Internet Banner Native and Lobo Web for self-service are kind of separate applications.
Correct.
Will they stay that way so that when I do time approval for my unit, will I still click on Lobo Web and select time approval?
So right now when you do it, like you're going into myunm.edu, and then
Logo Web, and then I find the right tab and navigate to
okay.
the sub-menu.
Okay.
Fine. Is it going to still be like that, or am I going to go into that the way that I do for Banner 9 for student accounts receivable, where I click on the Banner 9 button and I open it up and the self-service is integrated with the internet?
So one, we, as Aleutian rolls out the Banner 9 self-service applications, we have to like review those and like look at them and evaluate them. But the experience should be similar to what you currently do. If you're talking about like your time entry and stuff, because your time entry is not in the Banner 9 forms or the Banner 8 forms. It's currently within Lobo Web somewhere or something. So.
Right.
I'm just curious, is it Lobo time? Are you talking about Lobo time right now? Or okay. So, all right. So the experience, and again, we have to wait for Aleutian to release that product or that self-service application.
So
Yeah. So
I know the answer to that one. So they have like departmental time entry approval process. So it will be rolled out, and it will be actually, you will go to myunm.edu and you will access it the way that you are accessing it right now. So there's no major changes. So what we are doing is with the self-service, we mainly replacing the links to reflect Banner 9 instead of Banner 8 if the Banner 9 in place and active. Does it make sense? Yeah. The way that Aleutian, which is so confusing, and we had to spend too much time to think about it, the way they are bundling the self-service applications, it's totally separate than the way they did in the previous versions. It's all bundled within, like that. Exactly. So what we did, meanwhile, until we come up, we discuss it more in broad perspective, is replacing the Banner 8 with the Banner 9 links, if it makes sense.
Okay. Sure. Just to add on to that, I mean, one of the things that we've learned about working with our vendor is that nothing is for certain. Nothing is set in stone. So like I was kind of talking about before, it's a matter of them releasing the application, us reviewing it, evaluating it, and seeing how it works. Yeah. Regardless, whenever we kind of move forward with deploying whatever type of new application, we're going to do communication. We're going to let people know exactly how the new application will work and whatnot, so that you are aware of where to go and all that kind of stuff.
Right. Cool. The video? Maybe. So we have a 3 minutes video of the stuff that you're going to see in 6:15, which is base top information that you will be able to look and how to navigate to it and such. So Beirul developed this nice 3 minutes video that we'll be sharing with you. And if you have any more information or questions about this, then you can contact Beirul at the number that I mentioned.
Hello everyone. Today we want to show you all the fancy new things in your UNM pay stub. So let's get started. Now, everyone should be checking their pay stub frequently to ensure that there are no discrepancies. So let's start with a couple of different ways of getting to the pay stub. First, we'll visit the My UNM homepage, and then we'll click on the Staff tab. From here, you'll see the My Pay tile with a $ icon. If I click on it and scroll down just a tad and then click Pay Stub, it'll bring me directly there. Now, there are a lot of tiles for a lot of popular links around campus, but I'm a little more conventional when trying to access things around campus, and I like logging into LoboWeb and using the Employee Life tab. From the Employee Life tab, there's a quick link that says Pay Stub. It's important to note this quick link because the Pay Stub option under the Pay Information link in LoboWeb is going to be removed. Now, this looks really different, and you may have to give yourself a little while to get used to things. Your leave balances are visible from this page, and you have a multitude of other options surrounding pay information that really delineates how you're paid. Oh, and before I forget, I just want to quell any fear about the new system. All the old information is archived in the new system. I could go on for a while about the cool new features of this new dashboard, but you came here to hear about the pay stub. So let's open a pay stub and take a look around. I'm going to click on All Pay Stubs and open the pay stub from November 3rd, 2017. I know many of you will be happy about this. Your address is now included on your pay stub. We've also included this printer-friendly button, which really makes a nicely formatted PDF. And just a reminder, UNM is going green, so we always encourage you that if you are going to print it, print a file instead of paper. Now, the last thing before we scroll down is that your job title is now visible under the earnings section. And if you have multiple jobs, you can easily differentiate the pay from each of these. This next section should look really familiar when you're looking at benefits, deductions, and taxes, so we won't talk too much about it. And finally, we'll come to the bottom of the pay stub and we'll find a couple of new pieces of information. First, any taxable event, like taking a personal enrichment course using tuition remission, will be listed under the federally taxable benefits, so you know exactly what you're paying for. Second, you can see how you're paid and where your money is going under the check or direct deposit section. Third, all messages and announcements from payroll will no longer be at the top of the pay stub, but instead under this messages section near the bottom. And fourth, you have easy access to your current filing status. Now, we hope this helps you as you navigate through your pay stub, and we thank you so much for joining us on this walkthrough. We'll see you next time.
I don't know, Nader, do you want to talk about this?
Yeah.
The only thing I want to mention, well, go ahead. Yeah.
Well, I mean, this is it for us, guys. For more information, Banner 9 website, it has very good resources for training, what's coming ahead, so you will not be surprised. It's a very good website, and I encourage you to go and navigate to it. It's banner9.unam.edu. Fantastic materials. The shortcuts that Daniel mentioned early, it's mentioned up there, and we posted up there. So it will give you a good idea of what the team is working on so far. And eCommunity, if you want to check the roadmaps, if you have access to it, please navigate to it. That's the Elysian website, the vendor. And I listed all the stuff that we have in this conference. We have a nice, this conference, yeah, or event. We have a nice track of Banner 9. We have 2 labs today and 1 presentation tomorrow and an additional lab. So please attend as much as you can and learn more about Banner 9. Thank you so much for having us. We'll have one quick. Nothing will change. The process, the bar rules is going to be the same. Nothing will change. We're just changing the interface. Thank you, guys.